Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Don't forget about our sponsor, Crime Scene Seasoning, brought to you by DocLovesTheKids.org. Check it out. All the proceeds go to the less fortunate. Speaking of less fortunate, Republicans block a bill that would have cut taxes for families. A bipartisan bill expanding the child tax credit, also as well as business deductions sought by corporate America, failed to advance in the Senate on Thursday after overwhelming opposition from Republicans who feared giving Democrats a major win ahead of the November election. The 48-44 vote came amid debate of which party is more pro-family and whether the government should penalize people without children or childless cat ladies, as Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, a Republican Vice President candidate, suggested in recently resurfaced comments that had drawn bipartisan criticism. If these folks are so pro-family, why aren't they supporting paid family and medical leave? If they believe in families, why are they not supporting the child tax credit? Senator Tina Smith, D. Minnesota, told HuffPost when asked about GOP opposition to the bill. And this, to me, this is highly important. This child tax credit helps us all out. You struggle throughout the whole year. Hopefully you have a bunch of kids. You get your tax money back, and you can people do things with that. You move. You buy a new car. You refurbish your house.
Put it back into the economy.
Yeah, you do a lot of stuff. And the GOP is constantly, the Republicans are constantly blocking this.
They're constantly just giving money. When they give tax breaks, it's for the rich. Like the tax cut that Donald Trump, his only achievement when he was in office basically was the big tax cut, but it was mostly for people, millionaires and billionaires, right? But that was in perpetuity for them. But the tax cuts for people who were not millionaires and billionaires sunset in 2024, which is this year. So you have to renew it. He did that on purpose because he wants you guys to. It's like a carrot. He keeps on a string for you to kind of keep you voting. But why didn't he do it to them? That's who he should have did it to the most, was for them, because we could have reassessed where this tax money was going, how it was being spent, was it helping the economy? When you give money to a person who doesn't have as much money, they spend it. That's what's called stimulus. When they give us little checks, it's called a stimulus check, because they know you're going to go out and spend it because you have needs. Rich people are going to put it in their bank account. They may invest it somewhere else. They may not even invest it in this country. So it's not going to help the economy as much as it would as a person who is not as high of means, as much as it would help somebody like that.
Think about it. They gave all these during the COVID. They gave all these companies all that stimulus money, right? Mm-hmm. Most of them didn't even have to pay it back. And what did they do to us, folks? They hit us for more money. They raised prices on you.
It's greed.
They didn't just greedy.
It's greed. It's not even like people. We're blaming a lot of these this inflation on it's inflation. This is what's happening. Okay. It's really not that. It's greedflation. That's what it really is, man. These people have shown us they've raised their prices for no reason. It's not like they're paying more for what they're having to do. They're not paying more, maybe a slight bit, but not much. Most of them have shown us that it's just profit that they're just putting in their pockets. They're bringing in record profits at these corporations. And this is not us bashing corporations. I'm not against it, but you're not going to beat us like that, then treat the rest of the world better than you treat Americans. Look at healthcare. And look at what we in healthcare, we're paying 3 and 4 more times more than other countries. They said, like in Spain, I guess a hip replacement surgery is like this. These numbers may not be exactly correct, but I think it's like
that's close enough.
$7,500 or something like that for a hip replacement in Spain. It's like $50,000 over here.
Think about what they're doing with the people with their insulin. People are having to decide, they lowered the price finally, but it's like either I get my insulin or I can eat. And that insulin should just be free.
I mean, in all honesty, we need price controls on a lot of things in this country because we're letting ourselves get beat because we're so capitalist and we're so pro. I blame it on the Republican Party because they don't ever come to the aid of people, of everyday people. They just don't. They don't vote for anything that has it. Like this is a bill that would help families. J.D. Vance, he's big on families. He wants to give you votes for each one of your kids, but he don't really care about the family. He just cares that you keep having kids because they believe in this replacement theory. This is what this is all about. This has nothing to do with them caring about you or your family. Or they would be the party of just making sure families are well taken care of.
Exactly. It's like they want the baby to be born, but they don't want to help out and give you anything to do after that child's born.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's how they're looking at you.
And who keeps saying, who wears bootstraps? We wear Crocs now. You know what I'm saying?
Pull
People
yourself
always
up
say
by
that.
your Crocs or whatever.
I don't want to listen to no boomer because some of them old people. I saw an old dude working at Safeway the other day. He could barely hear, and he's behind the case. I'm like, yo, give me half pound of that pasta. Huh? What? He started scooping like big old scoops, and I'm looking at the young kid like, yo, what's up with this? But some of y'all got to work. And that's what it is. I don't know, man. These people are crazy. You know, and you got to think about that. When it's time to vote, who are you going to vote for? You know, it's like these people that vote for them, they're miserable, right? But they want everyone else to be miserable with them.
They vote against their own self-interest, man. You got people in states that are like deep red states that are poorest states in all the union, that have the highest rates of fentanyl deaths, that has the worst healthcare results, that have the worst education results, but you're voting for people to give tax breaks to billionaires. They didn't do, and he had the House and the Senate when he was in office. I had a guy, was like, there's a guy that I was watching on a show. He was talking to Charlemagne, the guy they have the show to do together. I can't remember the guy's name.
I know who you're talking about, the skinny, kind of Italian-looking dude.
Yeah, he was like, I need to know that Kamala Harris can run this country, is like prepared to run the country, or deserves to run the country.
He's kind of already running the country.
But this is what he's like. We know that Trump is. I'm like, how? How do you know that? Okay, first of all, let's start from the beginning. Did you know it before he got in office? You didn't. You didn't care because it's a man. Period. That's the truth. That's why you didn't care if he did or not. You could say, oh, he ran corporations into the ground. But okay, on top of that, when he did get in office, what did he do? He ran the country into the ground. That's what he did. If you want to go back and say, no, he did great except for COVID. We've already talked about that. We've already let you know that you can't. None of us get an opportunity to shift the blame off on something else when shit goes bad for us. So everybody got to take responsibility. That's what this is all about, right?
Especially if you had a chance to get ahead of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, since we're talking about Trump right now, Donald Trump falsely suggests Kamala Harris happened to turn black. Former President Donald Trump falsely claimed Wednesday that his 2024 Democratic rival, Vice President Kamala Harris, happened to turn black a few years ago, saying that all of a sudden she made a turn in her identity. Trump's comments at a gathering of black journalists in Chicago came when an interviewer asked him whether he agreed with Republicans on Capitol Hill who have characterized Harris as a DEI hire. Trump responded by questioning Harris' heritage. She was always of Indian heritage. She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know. Is she Indian or is she black? The former president said. I mean, he said, I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and all of a sudden she made a turn and she became a black person. He said at a National Association for Black Journalists convention. I think somebody should look into that. I mean,
it's real talk though. When he said it though, it was funny. He's like, I don't know. She was Indian, and now she's black. I mean, she's multicultural, so she can play on either one. But I mean, like as soon as she got announced to be the candidate for president, like it just everyone came out the wood. She's not black enough. She's not this enough. What do the police think?
I mean, and that's a big point, but it's bigger than that.
The police look at her and be like, shoot, or you need help.
Hey, and bigger than that, even we gotta kind of look at what his track record is. Look what he said about Barack Obama. Oh, he wasn't born here. You know, he uses that claim against people who look like us consistently. When I was growing up, people older than me they always told me stories about how they would tell you if you even had one drop of black blood, you're black. That just tells you they didn't even want the super light skinned, fair skinned, straight haired, pretty much white people, but they had a drop of black blood in them to even be white. But now all of a sudden they want to tell us, oh, this person's not black, because they understand the power of our vote. They understand the power of our union.
They act like that's. I mean, there's black people jumping on the stuff, but that's not going to change your mind. Donald Trump came out and said, "I'm going to give the police full immunity." Nope, you lost it right there, sir.
Even bigger than that, he should not be allowed to even run for president. Man, this dude tried to overthrow the country. He crashed our economy into the ground. He's the worst president that we've ever had in the history of our country. Now, I mean, this is just facts. What he did. This is facts. He ran up more of a deficit than he came into office. $17 trillion in debt we were. He ran up $9 trillion in 4 years. That means out of all the presidents we had in the history of this country, they ran up $17 trillion in debt. He came in 4 years and half that. half that, 9 trillion in his 4 years.
Twice impeached. That boy, he's setting records. I'm just saying.
Let's be real right here. And I mean,
hey, if I can't be the best, I'm gonna be the worst.
And then when he's in office, he's telling you what he feels about black people because he has a whole cabinet and only one person in his cabinet is black. He fired a bunch of people and rehired others, and he still didn't hire another black person. He's telling you how he feels about you, and now he puts a couple black people around him. That lady did a very, very, very good job in questioning.
He's like,
him.
you didn't even say hi to me, nothing. Nope, hit you with the real questions.
At him because she knew they didn't have much time. Then he tried to use a trope to a degree, like that whole "you guys relate." I've never heard him tell anybody else that. I'm sure there's other people were late, and there's other because he didn't say they were late personally. He said their equipment wasn't working.
Hey,
properly.
hold on. Now Donald Trump is an equal asshole opportunist. He'll talk crap to everybody. Remember he said it to
I believe it. I know he does.
Morning Joe. He was like, yeah, him and his wife tried to show up one time at a New Year's Eve party. Her face, she's bleeding out of you know where and everywhere. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna talk crazy to black folks. Like he was talking crazy to that lady. She asked him some real questions. Mm-hmm. They're like, look, you have a history of saying racist things about black people.
And that's
he
what
didn't
I'm
even
talking
answer.
about.
He's like, I've done a lot of good stuff for the blacks and the black community and this, but he never answered the question. He should. That's what I don't like. See, racists don't stand on business unless they're poor. Just come out and be like, I don't like you monkeys. I don't like none of you. I don't have no reason to do it. I just don't like business.
He stood on it the other day, and was that yesterday? He did. He said what he wanted to say. He made his commercials for by the time he was up there. I'm not saying that he's not like he doesn't equally. He pretty much more or less equally talk shit to everybody, but he says racist shit to black people though. He just does. That's different. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, talk shit, but you ain't got to don't use racist tropes when you're doing it. Yeah. That's a totally different thing. I thought
when people say racist things to me, like I've dealt with so much racism in my life. Like when people do low key racism, I just kind of like don't even like it doesn't click in my head. I hear what they're saying, and then they get upset. They be like, he's not understanding. I'm like, bro, I done heard worse.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. I mean, day-to-day life is totally different. I'm going to check them. I'm going to check somebody about being racist towards me, or if it's in my face, depending on how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't play that stuff. If it's a stranger that's racist, he got to die.
But at the end of the day, it's a big thing to say you got to die.
No, check it out. This is my thinking like this. Look, you don't know me from Adam or Eve or none of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. If you just come up to me randomly and you're just like just getting on some racist, crazy stuff, to me, like you don't look at me as a person. You'd want me dead. So in my mind, I got to take you out before you take me out. And that's my mind thinking. That's what I'm feeling. Check it out. If I don't know somebody and I'm just coming at you with anger and hate for no reason, what do you think I'm going to follow up with?
No, I agree, but that's different. I mean, so that's different. Those are individuals, right, that we're dealing with on a regular basis. That's correct. But the president of the country, man, and I know that
Chuck
we have
Schumer
votes.
Palestinian, man. Come on now, you know who he is.
Who? What did he say?
He called Chuck Schumer's over here acting like a Palestinian, which is weird to say. Like, why would you just call somebody a Palestinian?
He's
like
telling
that?
you how he feels about those people.
Yeah,
I mean, and only people that he bombed their country and killed a person. The people of color. We got to just look at what they're doing, man. I got black people that I've known for years coming on saying, hey, Kamala Harris, she ain't black. I think that she was trying to be Indian up into 2019. Like, they just believe this stuff. I said, go look at her old pictures.
Because people don't read the articles; they read the headlines.
Go look at her hairstyles. Go look at her clothing choices. You can pay it. I mean, I'm black, so I can tell.
Check it out. Kamala Harris is Jamaican. The only difference between Jamaicans and foundational Black Americans is a boat ride. But what people are saying is that, look, she's not black like us. She's not. She's Jamaican, but she grew up around us.
You know that.
Will she do anything for us? No, she's a Democrat. They don't do nothing for black people.
Let me say this.
Hey, we'll give you less slavery time in jail.
Democrats do a lot for black people. I disagree with that one. But
yes, you have Megan Thee Stallion shaking ass on stage.
She's an entertainer. That's what Megan Thee Stallion does. You know,
what's her shaking her ass got to do with the economics and the instabilities in the black neighborhood?
What's the difference? What does Bruce Springsteen playing this guitar have to do with any of that? But that's entertainment.
Is Kamala Harris?
That's the entertainment section.
Is Meg Thee Stallion's ass shaking gonna create a building from up on the ground and make a youth center for the black folks? No,
but it's part of the entertainment, man. That's what you have there.
Why didn't she just get naked?
Why did they have what's his name, Kid Rock, at their RNC?
Kid Rock's not shaking his ass or whipping his dick out. He's giving speeches.
But he says a lot of racist shit.
Megan Thee Stallion should have just got naked on stage.
He had Hulk Hogan rip his shirt off on stage. It's entertainment, man. That was entertainment.
Hulk Hogan got to give a speech.
It wasn't meant for us to be like seeing that. That was just an entertainment thing for the.
Am I supposed to see? Ooh, look at that fat ass on that black lady. You got my vote, Kamala.
Let's go back to what we were talking about before we.
We get juicy. We're gonna have twerkers every day. Is when Kamala gives her speech. her State of the Union? Is it going to be ass shaking and a DJ in the back like Ricka, 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 USA?
But anyway, man, like I said, man, at the end of the day, when it comes to having your president be the person who you're dealing with racism from, that's not something that I'm willing to deal with. I believe, if he's claiming that Barack Obama, like you said, that she's not black, she's Jamaican, but Jamaicans are black.
Yeah,
they're
to
black.
A point, they're Jamaican.
But they're black. I mean,
no.
They're black people.
They're Jamaican. Yeah, they're black people. They're considered black. They're Jamaican. They have a culture. They come from somewhere. Black Americans have to create our own culture. We're called black.
We pretty much created our own culture here, just the same as they created their own culture in Jamaica. They weren't.
Yeah, man.
You get what I'm saying?
No one tests that rude boy.
They created that culture in Jamaica. It's the same exact thing, So I mean, that's just how I feel about it personally. I feel like we get caught up a lot of times in thinking and feeling like this person is not black. I mean, I did my ancestry. I got 10 or 8% like European in my blood. So how many of us are all black anyways?
I'm just saying like this. I'd rather take the lady making fried chicken and curry than the man giving the police immunity.
And I would never call myself white ever a day in life. I never would, because I know probably that 8% came from something that wasn't pure at the end of the day. You get what I'm saying? So if I really look at,
they said, sir, the only time you white is when you ask for change. You'd be like,
You feel me? So I'm just saying, we all sit back and we try to covet this thing, and we know that we're all fighting for the same exact thing, but we're beating ourselves up. I'm watching, and there's a lot of it's our own men like being against her because she's a woman. Like, what are we angry for? Because there's a black woman now who's going to rise to the pinnacle of men. A
lot of men don't like to answer to women,
and then a lot of us, they're like, she ain't black enough. But then you date outside your race. What's the difference? You'd be like, her husband's white.
Whoa, sir! Don't talk
I'm
about
not
my
knocking dating outside the race.
Don't talk about my snow cave bunnies.
I have no problem with that. I'm just saying,
milk of Malaysia.
We can't hold people to standards that we're not willing to every day hold ourselves to.
That's internet talk, though. Period. That's people on the internet. People on the internet. People on social media.
I know some of these people, though. But I know some of these people personally. Like, personally, I know this person. I'm like, man, he's telling me she claimed herself to be Indian. She was never claiming to be white. I said, man, she was part of the Black Attorneys Association in California, man.
Yeah,
what are
and
you
then
talking about?
what's her name? Was the president of the NAACP in Washington too. What's that lady's name?
She probably feel like she black. She probably do more black stuff than some of the blacks around. She
did actually a lot more stuff.
We're going to stop talking about this, man. Like, there's Jewish people who helped out black people. There's a lot of them.
And there's a lot of Jewish people that had slaves.
I mean, and there's a lot of black people. There's black people who, I ain't going to say it like that, but you do understand what I'm saying. But there's a lot of fucking other races of people who've done a lot to help out black people. And I'm not going to forget about that just because I'm not going to sit back and bash them. I remember I went to a store one time. I was at like a convenience store, and this black lady was in here. She was a darker skinned black woman. And there was this kid, and I could tell that he was of mixed breed. He's a mixed, mixed descent.
A biracial child.
Biracial, absolutely. And she's like, something, you're not even black. And I just stopped her right there. I said, hold up, man. We're not going to do that. That's what we're not going to do. Because it's us three in there, and there ain't nothing but white people in that store. I said, that's what we're not going to do. He is black. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else going to look at him and say he black. They're not going to say he white. They're not going to treat him white. So why are we tearing each other down? That's the weakest shit that I've ever seen before in my life.
Oh, you
I don't like that
dark
type of
skin.
shit. That's the weakest shit. That's that whole. Even when it happened with the movement with Drake and Kendrick, I don't want to get into all that, but I'm saying I just feel like that's just some weak ass shit that we do to each other. Slay in a house this and versus a field this. Man, that's us beating each other up, and that's weak shit, man.
Yeah,
I will never be cool with that. I never talk about that. That's some light skin. No, man, that's some black stuff. Whatever a person do when they get up in the morning, they black. That's what black people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah. And I want to report on this really quick. It's something it's been in the news. A U.S. state rocked by 61 earthquakes up to 5.1 magnitude in 1 week. A single county has reported more than 60 earthquakes in the last week, sparking a state of emergency to be declared. Scurry County in West Texas was hit by a 5.1 magnitude quake last Friday, which was felt as far north as Oklahoma, followed by a 4.5 magnitude the next day. The epicenter has now experienced 62 seismic events since Monday. That was July 23rd. County Judge Dan Kick declared a disaster in the county Friday to get assistance from the state and is asking anyone with damages or losses to fill out a survey that will help them identify the scope of damage in the area. The seismic events began on Monday, July 23rd, when reports flooded out of Texas after a 4.9 magnitude shook Hermland residents, awakening them at 10:38 p.m., which was also felt in Oklahoma and New Mexico. The reason that's important to me, that's a lot of earthquakes in one small area.
I mean, and they're saying there's other ones too in Snyder, west of Fort Worth, they had more than 90 earthquakes in the past week. A staggering 103 earthquakes hit West Texas in 8 days. This is, I mean, we know what they do in Texas. Drill, baby, drill. And this is what we're not paying attention to it. We're acting like you got people like some people running for office saying right now that, well, we want to drill more oil. And we're already drilling more oil than anyone has in the history of the world that we know of. In the history of the world, we're drilling more right now.
So you think the earthquakes are from drilling?
Hell yeah. I mean, what else could it be from? Why are we having so much seismic activity? I know people are going to say this is just the earth shifting. This could be this. I don't know, man. I know you got the Arctic shelves melting away, all those ice caps, melting away, and the temperatures are rising everywhere. We got to pay attention to what's happening here. I mean, is it because of us? When you have a place
then
that
you have
has
the eruption in Yellowstone too.
Yeah, we watched that.
Yeah, we watched the video where the people were walking and boom, just start blowing up.
You look at like areas, okay, say like in places in India where India has like a staggering 1.4 billion people. In some places in India, it was getting up to like 120 something degrees, 126, 125 degrees, because they've torn down all the foliage and all the trees and everything. There's another place that planted like 800 something thousand trees and 5,000 something plants.
They're actually doing it in Africa too. They're trying to stop the Sahara Desert from advancing. Exactly.
Yeah. But the temperature went down. It showed that the temperature went down by like 2 degrees. You know what I mean? By them doing that, it like went down by 2 degrees. I mean, so that we see the correlation about what's happening. Of course, it's the drilling. They're drilling Texas pretty much is drilling like a lot of oil out of Texas. I mean, everyone's like, oh, Texas is pretty much runs the United States. They got a great economy. You're drilling. I mean, your water's probably shit because you don't even get enough rain down there as it is. I've been down there. I know you guys. You get spouts of rain and it'll rain so hard for like 30 seconds, then and it stops. 30 seconds later, the ground is completely dry. That's how it is down there. They got birds down there that have funny shaped beaks. We live in Washington State, so I'm down there. I see a bird with this really long, funny shaped beak. I'm like, what is that beak for? It's because the ground is so hard that the bird has to. That's the only way that bird could survive. Like we have crows here. They couldn't survive down there.
Yeah.
Because of, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they don't have any crows. I don't know. But I mean but I'm just looking at like of course it's drilling, man.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. I mean, they're getting earthquakes in places that normally don't even get them. Texas.
Yeah, no, I think the earth could be shifting. It could be, climate change. It could be a lot of stuff going on under like titanic plates. I didn't look to see if there's plates under there, but I mean, 61 earthquakes in one area. I'm out. That's like here in Washington, they had the mountain that collapsed. They could hear the cracking, and the neighbors heard cracking, and then the side of the mountain just collapsed on all the people.
And killed a bunch. I remember that happening, man. That's crazy, man. You've been talking a lot about climate change, and we need to talk about that because it's true. It's happening. We can sit back and
you can sit back and try to ignore it. It's happening.
It's really happening,
regardless if you're going to participate or not.
A 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 others charged in terror plot reached plea agreement deals. Accused 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 other men charged with plotting the September 11, 2001 terror attacks by al-Qaeda have agreed to plead guilty in the military commission's process, the Pentagon said Wednesday. The terms of the plea deals for the 3 men who have been in custody since 2003 were not released, but they are expected to plead guilty to some charges and potentially avoid death sentences as a result. The official of military commission said the defendants will enter their pleas as early as next week at the U.S. military base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. In addition to Mohammed, the other men expected to plead guilty are Walid Mohammed Sia, Mubarak bin al-Tash, and Mustafa Ahmad Adam al-Hawasi. So,
did they find their passports too at the bottom of the rubble?
These guys weren't actually on. You already know these.
They weren't on the plane.
I think they went and like found these guys in the Middle East somewhere and brought them to Guantanamo. And I don't know what Sheikh Mohammed did, but they waterboarded the hell out of him. They beat him, electric shock. They did stuff that we call that anywhere else. That's why they took him to Guantanamo, because it wasn't on American soil.
So they can torture him.
You know what I mean? So people, and they also said that he was just telling them whatever they wanted to hear after a minute. Like, oh, yeah, that's what happened.
Course.
Stop beating me. Yeah, okay, this is what you want me to say? I'm going to say it. Didn't matter what it was. So, honestly, torture doesn't, I'm not saying that the potential of torture doesn't help.
Hey,
but what do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Keep going.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you torture one person, say you're over in a different country, you torture one person, and then the next person looking over like, man, this is me next. He's gonna tell. That's just what it is. I'm not saying that. I'm not. This is war. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we needed information and we got it. That's not to say torture is good or whatever, but people can't look at you like you're a pushover. Oh, they're not gonna do shit to us. That's what they're gonna look at. Man, they're not gonna do. They're gonna put us in jail. Man, we're gonna eat good. We're gonna have 3 square meals.
We get to watch Jerry Springer and Maury because at the time that's
it can't
hot
be
shows.
comfort when it's war. I mean, am I advocating torture? No, but on a grander scale, if we were for what we were dealing with, we needed to do certain things a little bit outside the box. That's not to say that torture was the right thing to do, because I think we tortured people who didn't deserve it. I think that we went in there and we treated them way differently than what we would treat other people because of the situation, and we also got ourselves into Iraq for no reason. But we did what we had to do to get the information that we needed to get.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're going to keep you updated on all the stories that we got going on. Ladies and gentlemen, Uncommon Courtesy. We're going to see you next time.